What's up, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. I want to welcome you to another episode of the Always Developing Leader podcast. We're here dedicated to helping you, the change maker, enhance your leadership skills and hopefully be able to forge stronger relationships in every single area of your life. My name is jjshawver. And whether you're joining us here for the first time or you're a seasoned listener, I am so thrilled and happy to have you here today. So today in this episode, we're going to be diving into the heart of leadership and personal success. We're going to be mastering the art of communication and love. While these topics might sound just a little bit traditional, they really are, without a doubt, the bedrock of successful interpersonal interactions and leadership. Okay. So today we're going to be exploring how these elements, supported by modern psychological insights and a little sprinkle of timeless wisdom, can transform your relationships, enhance your leadership capabilities, and ultimately guide you to a more fulfilling personal and professional life. All right. So as we get going here, I definitely want to make sure you're comfortable. Perhaps maybe grab a notebook and let's go ahead and embark on this enlightening journey together. All right, guys, today we are going to be focusing on communication and love. I want you to know that at the core of every single meaningful interaction is the ability to express ideas and emotions, right? We need to be able to express them in ways that build and strengthens our connections. Effective communication isn't just about transmitting information back and forth to one another, right? It's about creating a true understanding. It's about creating respect, and it's about really creating mutual support amongst others. Here's where the concept of love comes in. And no, I'm not just talking about romantic love, but a broader, universal love that encompasses respect, kindness, safety, and empathy. All right. These are qualities that anyone, regardless of your background or belief, can appreciate and strive to live out in their every single day interactions, right? So let's break down these concepts a little bit further and discuss how we can apply them effectively in our fast-paced, often challenging world of life, leadership, and change making. So building strong relationships, whether it's personal or professional, starts with solid communication. This involves not only the words that we choose to say, but it also how we convey the words and interpret feelings and thoughts, right? How we feel them. Research in psychology highlights several key behaviors that underscore effective communication. Some of these behaviors are active listening, empathy, clarity. Those three behaviors not only make our interactions more productive, but they also make it more meaningful. It fosters an environment where ideas start to flourish and conflicts are resolved constructively and usually a lot quicker. Let's take active listening, for instance, right? Okay, active listening is about fully engaging with the person who is speaking to you to really understand their message. When we respond, we should do so thoughtfully, and we always want to retain what's been discussed. This isn't just about hearing the words that someone's telling you. It's about genuinely appreciating the speaker's perspective and then responding in a way that validates their thoughts and their feelings. When you listen to someone and you sit here like a bump on a log, opposed to making eye contact with them, making gestures, and truly understanding. And I mean truly listening to understand what's being said, not just to respond, right? Not just to say something back to them. As we continue our journey to master communication and build stronger relationships, it's so important to recognize the obstacles that we often face. Effective communication is not always straightforward. In fact, a lot of times it's not. There are barriers. both internal and external, that can affect this and can distort our message and reduce our effectiveness as individuals and as leaders. So let's explore some of these common barriers, and then I really want to provide you with some strategies that I use to help navigate through these problems when they do arise. So this will enhance your ability to lead. It will enhance your ability to connect with others at work and at home. All right. So one major barrier is the presence of preconceived notions. The presence of preconceived notions or bias. We must remember that we come into every single interaction with our backgrounds, with our experiences, with our expectations, right? While these are part of what make us us, and each of us is unique, they can also cloud our judgment at times, right? They can oftentimes, if we aren't aware of it, they can really do some harm, right? Can really influence our reactions in ways that aren't helpful to us whatsoever. For constructive communication, anyways, think about how you grew up. What was your family culture like? Think about that for a minute. For instance, someone who grew up without a father or in a troubled, chaotic home, guarantee they're going to look at life a lot differently than someone who had grown up in a stable household. It's just how it is. Another significant hurdle is emotional reactions. Let me start by saying, okay, emotions are a natural and they are an important part of our interactions and life. But that being said, when we take and let our emotions control our responses, we risk misinterpreting messages and we start to react impulsively rather than thoughtfully. This is an area in my life where I've struggled with a lot because I am high strung. And with my wife, she's not. She's more mellow. And when I just let my emotions run wild, she always takes a step back. She would take a step back. I mean, this is something I still constantly must be intentional about in my daily life. So, with all of this being said, the key question is, how do we overcome these barriers, right? The first step is awareness. First step is awareness. By recognizing these bias or emotion, they're triggers. We can really start to control them instead of letting them control us. Let's start with tackling bias, for example. One effective strategy is to actively challenge our assumptions. Actively challenging our assumptions. So before entering any conversation, it's so crucial to ask yourself, what assumptions am I making about this person or this situation? Are they based on facts or are they based on perceptions? This simple questioning technique can open up the door to more, honestly, unbiased communication. And that's what we need. And as for managing emotional reactions, it's crucial to develop emotional intelligence. This means not only being aware of your emotions, but also being able to manage them in an appropriate way. A technique that we can use to help us with this is called the pause practice. So whenever you feel a strong emotion rising during a conversation, just take a little moment, take a slight moment to pause and breathe. This brief stop can really give you a split second that you need to collect your thoughts and respond in a more measured and effective manner. All right. So the pause and breathe. All right. Another key technique is reflective listening. All right. This involves repeating back what you've heard to confirm the understanding and show whoever's talking to you that their message is valued, that it's important to you. It's such a powerful tool that's not only, really can help us improve clarity, but also it demonstrates respect and consideration for the person that's talking to you, person that's speaking to you. All right. By addressing these barriers head on, we not only become better communicators, but we also set the stage for deeper and more meaningful connections with those who are in our lives and around us. As leaders, as humans, this ability to communicate clearly and empathetically is so key. It's paramount. It really is. And as we navigate through these complexities of communication, because it is hard, empathy emerges as a cornerstone, I guess, if you will, of effective leadership and genuine connection. Now let's dive into how developing strong sense of empathy and understanding with others can transform the way that we interact with others and lead our lives. All righty, guys. Empathy is the ability to put oneself in another's shoes, to understand their feelings and perspectives, and then to use that understanding to guide our actions, right? This isn't just about feeling what others feel, but it's about bringing a deep sense of respect for their experiences into every single interaction. You might be asking yourself, but JJ, why is empathy so critical? I'll let you know. It's critical because it bridges gaps. It allows us to connect with other people on a level that just as really does go beyond the surface interactions that we have daily. It's about more than just understanding facts. It's about connecting with the emotional undertones that those facts carry with them. Developing empathy isn't always natural. For some, it can be very hard. To truly develop empathy, it takes practice. It takes intentionality. It's not easy. But here are some strategies that I use that might help you cultivate this essential skill. So first, we must practice active listening. This means, like I said, truly focusing on what the other person is saying without planning your response ahead. When they're speaking, who's guilty of that? I know I was often guilty of that. While they're speaking, you already know what you're going to say. Doing this involves engaging with their words, right? Their body language and the emotions behind their speech. Active listening not only helps you gain a clear understanding of what's being said, but it also shows the person that's talking to you, that speaker, that they are truly being heard and respected. Listen to be heard, not to respond. Next, you want to ask open-ended questions. These types of questions encourage the speaker to open up and to share more about their thoughts and feelings. For example, instead of asking, "Are you upset about the delayed project?" you might ask, "How do you feel about the recent changes on the project timeline?" This approach invites a deeper conversation, and it really demonstrates genuine interest in their perspective. Does that make sense to you? Works well. Another powerful technique is to practice that perspective taking, okay? Try to see situations from other person's point of view. When you encounter a conflict or a challenging conversation, just take a step back and consider, what might this look like if I was in their shoes or on their side? If this were happening to me, that really does wonders. This can help you to better understand, right, the reasons behind others' actions and responses. This will lead you to being a more compassionate human, really, and it will help you with your effective interactions, I promise you. And then last, I want to talk about making it a habit to reflect on our interactions, right? So after a conversation, how many of you take some time to think about how it went and how the other person might have felt during the conversation? We need to reflect on what went well and what we could have improved on. This reflection will help you to grow your empathy and understanding, but it does take time. Empathy and understanding are not just soft skills. They are leadership imperatives that can dramatically improve how we communicate and connect with others. By practicing these techniques, we can foster a culture of respect and mutual support that is conducive to achieving your personal and professional goals. All right. So the power of vulnerability, because I want to dive in to a concept that might seem even counterintuitive to many in a leadership role or even in your individual life. And that's the power of vulnerability. Okay, vulnerability is often viewed as a weakness, but in reality, it's a profound strength that can really lead you to a greater sense of transparency, trust, and connection with your team, in your home, or in any single relationship that you have in your life. Okay. Vulnerability involves opening up about our thoughts, opening up about our feelings, and about our challenges. It can be hard, but it does mean admitting when we don't have all the answers and then being able to open up and being I guess open to new ideas, right? And honest feedback. This can particularly be challenging in leadership roles where there's often unspoken expectation to always seems in control and infallible. Sadly enough, some feel that way at home too, where they can't be themselves. They don't feel like they can open up. That's so sad. But here's the truth, y'all. Leaders who embrace vulnerability are able to create an environment where authenticity is valued and where team members feel safe and can express their own doubts and concerns. This openness fosters a culture of innovation and continuous improvement. It really, really does. So, how can we as leaders effectively use vulnerability to enhance our leadership and communication? So here are some actionable strategies that I use. First, we need to lead by example, 1000%. Show your team that it's okay to make mistakes and that these are opportunities for learning and for growth. Share your own experiences with them. Share your own failures with them and how you've learned from them. This humanizes you. It also encourages your team or your family to take calculated risk without fear of retaliation. Next, we have to encourage open communication. We have to create multiple channels where your team or your family can provide honest feedback to you and share their concerns. Regular team meetings are family meetings, one-on-one check-ins, anonymous feedback, tools like that can all be part of this approach. The key is to listen actively and respond constructively to the feedback that you get. Another aspect of vulnerability that can be super difficult is asking for help when you need it. This demonstrates to your team that you or your tribe that seeking assistance is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. It shows that you value your team's expertise and trust their ability to contribute to the cause, reinforcing a sense of teamwork and collaboration. And then last, we must acknowledge the emotional aspects of work and life. Recognize the stress, the frustration, or the excitement projects can evoke. Discuss these feelings openly, and it can really help normalize them. It makes it easier for everyone to manage their emotions and stay engaged, stay motivated. By embracing vulnerability, we don't just enhance our own leadership and life, but we also empower the ones that are around us as well. It creates a supportive and really resilient tribe capable of facing almost any challenge if you're together. It's true magic when it's done properly. So, as we near today's end and the end of this episode, we'll wrap up with some final thoughts and takeaways from this episode. First, I want to say thank you so much for staying with me through the whole episode to the end. And gosh, we've really covered a lot of ground today, from the foundations of importance of communication and love to overcoming barriers, developing empathy, and embracing vulnerability and leadership. As we conclude, let's quickly recap the major points of today's discussion. All right. Number one, we started by exploring the critical role that effective communication plays in all types of relationships, work, life, and home life. We highlighted how foundational qualities like respect, understanding, and emotional connection enhance our every interaction. Then, number two, we identified common barriers to effective communication. Remember that? We talked about bias, we talked about emotional reactions, and then discussed some strategies to overcome them. We ensured clear communication and more meaningful exchanges, right? And then last, we dove into the importance of developing empathy and understanding. In that section, we covered techniques like, remember, active listening, perspective taking, to deeper our connections with others. And then, lastly but not least, we examined the power of vulnerability and leadership in life. We demonstrated how being honest about our challenges and uncertainties can really strengthen trust and inspire genuine teamwork within any organization or home. I want to end this episode by saying leadership is not just about guiding others to achieving goals. It's about really connecting with others on a deeper, more intentional level. It's about understanding their needs and then fostering an environment where everyone can thrive. This skill we discussed today are essential for anyone who is looking to make a more positive impact in their organizations, in their homes, or just overall life. Now, my challenge to you as you move forward is to take one thing you've learned from today's episode and apply it in your next interaction or leadership opportunity. Whether that's practicing active listening, embracing vulnerability, or just simply asking more open ended questions, each small step will bring you closer to becoming the leader you aspire to be. I just want to thank you again for joining me on the Always Developing Leader podcast. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and join us next time as we continue to explore key insights and strategies that will help you develop into the leader you're meant to be. Until next time, keep developing, keep leading, and keep making a difference. Goodbye and take care.